back to the Learn Excel podcast. I'm Bill Jelen. We're here at the Seattle Museum of Flight, and we have John Peltier, the smartest guy in Excel charting that I've ever seen. Check out his website at peltiertech.com. All the cool charting things that I ever do, I've stolen from John. Here he is to talk about how to set up data.
Hi. Bill asked me to talk a little bit about charting, and I couldn't think of anything in 2 minutes that I could cover except that if you spend 2 minutes with your data, you're going to save yourself 2 hours of problems. I have a sample data range here, and just very briefly, the important things to do with data to make your life simple. You can do it the hard way if you want and spend those 2 hours, but try to avoid any blank columns and blank rows in your data. Make sure everything is contiguous. And if you notice this range that I have, it's a contiguous range. Column A has a bunch of numbers which are going to be my X values or my category values, and row 1, alpha and beta, are going to be my series names. You can arrange your data so that the series are in columns or in rows, but doing it in columns is better because it's consistent with the way that Excel handles databases. And now one other trick that's going to make your life simple is you notice that the top left cell, cell A1, is blank. There's no data in it. That helps Excel to parse the data. When that cell is blank, it knows to use the first column for categories and the first row for series labels. And I'll show you how that works. And Excel has a pretty smart data parser when it deals with things like data for charts. And if everything is contiguous, it selects that whole contiguous range. And so Excel will pick all the range that's connected, and it'll pick the series labels and the category values. So if I go over here and click on the Chart Wizard button, and I'll just use the default chart type here and click Finish, and you'll see that my chart has 2 series on it. My category labels are 1 through 10, just like in column A, and the values go from 3.4 up to 5.2 in alpha, and they go from about 5.3 down to 2.3 in beta. I'll show you what happens to a chart if we have any missing rows in here. Let's say I have a blank row. I'm just going to insert a blank row. You notice I didn't have to, even in that example, select the whole range. I just selected one cell, and Excel expands that range as needed. And here I go, and I make my default chart. And look, it only selects the first 5 rows because there's a gap before the 6th. You also notice that the range that is in the chart is highlighted with blue for the values, purple for the category labels, and green for the series names. Those are nice because you could actually stretch that range and include it all. Now we have a gap, but again, if we delete that row, go back to the original chart. Now just remember, if you keep your data simple, arrange it ahead of time, you can save yourself a lot of hassles, not only with charts, but with data for pivot tables and data that you need to analyze with formulas. So good luck and good charting.
All right. Hey, John, thanks very much. Make sure to check out John's website, peltiertech.com. Great charting examples there. Hey, we'll catch you next time for another netcast from Mr. Excel.